to the AI Campa Show's second season of Pokemon Universe.
Please subscribe and give like. Enjoy.
Today, we're finally looking past that familiar lab coat and the choice of your first Pokemon. We're diving into Professor Samuel Oak.
Yeah, he's often just seen as, the starting point guy, but when you dig into the sources, he's really the architect, the scientist who basically built our whole modern understanding of Pokemon.
Absolutely. Our mission today is to piece together the full picture from this intensely curious kid in Pallet Town through a pretty significant academic rivalry, major scientific work, and even some late-life philosophical thinking.
And it's important to see the person behind the research, too, the dedication, maybe even the personal cost. He didn't just give you a Bulbasaur. He created the very system that defines what a Bulbasaur is. Understanding him is understanding the foundation of this world.
Exactly. So let's start right there, Pallet Town. Seems quiet, right? But Oak's childhood there was, well, not typical for the time. Formal Pokemon research wasn't really a thing yet.
Right. His curiosity was different. It wasn't about, I gotta catch them all. Not yet, anyway. The sources paint him as this young field researcher, basically, before he even knew what that was.
Aye.
Just spending hours watching, observing.
And there's that one specific story, isn't there? It's not some epic battle, but something really small. A Pidgey.
Yeah, just a little Pidgey nesting outside his window. He didn't try to catch it or battle it. He just watched it for hours, sketching, taking notes on its behavior, how it built its nest, how it flew.
That really shows his focus right from the start. Documentation, understanding, not power or competition.
Precisely. That was his whole approach, even then.
What?
And that kind of intense focus, well, it eventually showed him the limits of Pallet Town.
So he needed more, which led him away as a teenager.
Yep. Off to the big city, relatively speaking. Celadon University of Science. Majoring in biology naturally, but really zeroing in on Pokemon genetics and evolution. His life's work, basically.
Okay, so university. This is where things get interesting, interaction-wise. Because he runs into someone with a very different take on Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Enter Agatha, future Elite Four member, and arguably his most significant rival.
Right, so what was that like? Two brilliant people, both passionate about Pokemon, but pulling in totally opposite directions.
Intense. You had Oak diving deep into theory, classification, the why, and then Agatha all about power, strategy, pushing Pokemon to their limits in battle.
It sounds like more than just different study habits.
Right.
Like a fundamental disagreement about what Pokemon are for.
Exactly. Is it about knowing them or mastering them? Their paths totally diverged because of it. Oak went the academic route, field research, the lab.
While Agatha hit the training grounds. Hard.
And the sources suggest she kind of resented Oak's path, saw it as him losing his nerve, maybe, losing the passion, the fire for battle by hiding in books and theories.
That's a fascinating dynamic. Did her criticism have any weight, do you think, or was it just sour grapes because they chose different roads?
Well, maybe it stung a little, but it didn't stop him. If anything, it probably fueled his work. While she was climbing the ranks, he was literally building the framework for the world she was competing in.
So after university, he really commits to this massive project.
Totally. Decades of work. Traveling, collecting data. Remember, before Oak, there wasn't really a unified system, just creatures. He brought order to that chaos.
Sketching them, logging behaviors, region by region. It's hard to even imagine the scale of that undertaking back then.
And that's his core contribution, really, the classification system. Grouping by type, by evolutionary line, by habitat. It sounds obvious to us now, but he proposed it.
That structure is everything. It's why you know what a water type is vulnerable to, or how a Charmander evolves. That's why they call him the father of Pokemon research.
But think about managing all that data. Before computers were, common, stacks and stacks of notebooks, index cards must have been overwhelming.
Which naturally leads us to the Pokédex. It wasn't always meant for trainers, was it?
No, not initially. It started as his own thing, like a super high-tech field journal, just for him. A way to organize his own massive amounts of research.
So how did it become the pocket-sized device every kid gets?
Technology caught up. Or rather, he found the right collaborators. The sources mention a key meeting with engineers from Silphco.
Silphco. Yeah.
They were working on early AI concepts, but more practically, on data compression, making large amounts of information fit into small spaces.
And Oak saw the potential immediately.
Exactly. He realized he could condense potentially all his research, decades of it, onto a portable device. That partnership turned his personal encyclopedia into something distributable, something a 10-year-old could carry.
It's not just a list then. It's like the physical form of his philosophy.
Yeah.
Knowledge for everyone. Every Pokemon matters. Every detail counts.
Yeah, sharing the knowledge, not hoarding it, which fits perfectly with his next chapter, the mentor role.
Right. He establishes a system, then goes back home to Pallet Town to guide the next generation, like his grandson Gary.
And Ash Ketchum, of course.
And his teaching style reflected that philosophy too, didn't it?
Absolutely. His big thing was curiosity before competition. He wanted trainers to be thoughtful, respectful, to understand their Pokemon, not just use them like battle tools.
It's interesting how that small lab in Pallet Town became this global hub, in a way. He encouraged trainers to travel, didn't he? To learn from other regions, other experts.
He was big on cross-regional exchange, and you see his direct influence on the professors who came after him. Elm, Birch, Rowan, Kukui.
Ah, right. They each kind of took a branch of his work, didn't they?
Yeah, like Elm focusing on evolution, Birch on habitats and ecosystems, Rowan on diversity, Kukui on the human-Pokemon bond. Oak basically seeded the future of Pokemon research by empowering specialists.
He built a legacy that would outlast him. And it all comes back to that core idea, his motto.
Every Pokemon has a story to tell.
It's a beautiful idea. But the sources also hint that this incredible focus, it came at a price, personally.
Yeah, the dedication was immense. And the implication is that his family life was, well, secondary. It remained very private, likely because his work consumed so much of him.
You mean prioritizing the science over maybe conventional family stuff? There's that persistent rumor about Ash, for instance.
Right, the whole is Oak Ash's grandfather thing. It's never confirmed, but whether it's true or not, it adds this layer, this image of a man shaping the world for generations, but perhaps carrying a certain loneliness, surrounded by notes, not necessarily people.
But that didn't mean he stopped being curious, even later in life.
Not at all. He kept pushing, moved beyond just classifying them, started looking into Pokemon communication, trying to understand their emotions, their language almost.
Okay, this is where it gets really deep, right? Moving from pure science towards philosophy. His later journals talk about this connection.
Yes. It's a significant shift. He starts writing about Pokemon not just as biological subjects, but as, get this, reflections of human emotion and energy.
Wow. Reflections of us.
He even calls them living mirrors of our own evolution. Think about that. Coming from the guy who built the objective classification system, it's profound.
That must change everything. If they're mirrors, not just partners or tools, how does that affect the idea of training or bonding?
It fundamentally reframes it. This later thinking, it's seen as the root of the modern idea of Pokemon resonance.
Resonance. Can you break that down a bit?
Yeah.
How does Oak idea feed into that?
Well, resonance is that deep, almost psychic link between a trainer and their Pokemon, right? That feeling of being perfectly in sync. Oak's leap philosophy suggests this isn't just about strategy or friendship. It's about empathy. Because Pokemon reflect our inner state, true resonance comes from understanding yourself through that reflection. It's mutual understanding, not just command.
So the bond is rooted in empathy, triggered by seeing yourself mirrored in your Pokemon. That's much deeper than just catching and battling.
It really is. It elevates the whole relationship.
So let's recap. We started with Professor Oak, the guy who gives you your first Pokemon, but he's so much more. The scientist who defined the field, the mentor who shaped generations.
And the late-life philosopher who saw Pokemon as reflections of our own souls. He believed knowledge, especially when guided by kindness and curiosity, could bridge worlds, even if that path was a bit solitary for him personally.
His legacy isn't just the Pokédex entries. It's the idea that the real journey is understanding those stories, the ones Pokemon tell us about themselves and maybe about ourselves too.
Exactly. It's a quest for understanding, not just victory.
Which leaves us, and you, with a final thought. If we take Oak's late philosophy seriously, that Pokemon are living mirrors, reflecting our emotions, our energy, our path, then think about the Pokemon you feel closest to, the one that's always in your party or the one you just connect with. If it's a mirror, what does that specific Pokemon reveal about your inner world, your own journey, your own evolution?
Something deep to consider next time you look at your team. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.